very young age. I was 4 years old when my father, Luis Ramirez, changed from gardening to construction and moved us to Corona in order to take advantage of Orange County's boom. So I spent 9 years in Corona, and then we moved further north to Stockton, California. And that's where the family settled. So greetings from the Ramirez of Stockton. I am Yolanda's first cousin. I am Eddie Weezar's first cousin. On my dad's side, my mom's side, probably related to all of you somehow. And like my younger siblings, we really yearn for this place. It acquired such wonderful meaning through many Christmases spent at my grandmother Cipriana and Tata Salvador's house. We'd come down for a couple of weeks during the summer and hang out with the Weezars, have a great time. But then we'd spend Sundays down with our Ramirez relatives at the Apostolic Church, and I got to meet that clan. My uncles Robert, Thomas became very prominent ministers in the apostolic movement, and the Alemans were tied to that story, of course. And my father and Eliseo were very prominent laymen, and so it's a heritage I celebrate. But I teach at the university level, and whenever I start my class on American religions, I tell the story that you've heard hints about here today, Cipriana Gonzalez, how she took on the Bishop of San Diego to keep St. Leo's open. And I'd heard that story in family lore, and then when Nana passed away in 1999, after 10 years of Alzheimer's, Victor Tostado of St. James showed me the documents that proved the story. And there were letters from the Pope's guy in D.C., the Papal Nuncio, to the Bishop of San Diego, to the Monsignor of St. James, asking about the, quote, troublemakers. And Cipriana Gonzalez's name was the first one on the list. And well, she won. And so that night, Mr. Tostado took me around the campus of St. Leo's. I had always known about the Head Start program, and that's a wonderful thing. And we ran smack dab into a medical clinic being delivered by UC San Diego medical faculty and students to the community, obviously to the uninsured and the undocumented. And that really impressed me. And then he told me that in 1986, when we had the last great immigration reform and amnesty, lots of agencies and churches put people through the pipeline to naturalization, 1,500 families benefited through St. Leo's sponsorship. And I think that's what my grandmother was all about. And that's why she insisted that it stay open and serve the community. And I've shared that story with Father Gerard already. It's a precious story. Nana, of course, was one of those Viva Kennedy Democrats. She thought it was the second coming of Jesus Christ when John Kennedy was elected president. And a great pillar in St. Leo's. My other grandmother, Maria Ramirez, was an immigrant from Guanajuato and lost her family in the 1918 Spanish flu pandemic, and took care of her younger cousins, and then received a letter from a gentleman named Eladio Ramirez, who had been up here a few years and met the notorious Pancho Pistolas Hernandez. Named Pistolas because he had pistolas, and he was a revolutionary fighter from Mexico, and he was Nana's cousin. Nana had become a single mother by this point, and a letter arrived offering marriage and the fare to take the train from Guanajuato to Juarez, El Paso, where they crossed. And they got married in Juarez. He brought him to the country, and little 2-year-old Eliseo was introduced into the country. That wasn't his real name. His first name was Eusebio Castañeda. But Eladio Ramirez gave him his name to bring him into the United States. In 1924, as a 2-year-old, I call him the first dreamer in American history. And he lived a full life. You've heard already. The testament to his service to this country is around you. It's on the ground. It's in this monument. He and Chuckles and all the other veterans put their lives on the line. He almost died in the invasion of the Philippines. And it's that generation that gives me a right to speak and intervene in the public square because of that generation, as has already been noticed by Paul Salgado. And I've been thinking about Nana recently now with the pandemic. 100 years ago, this woman lost her family. It was a great calamity. There was nothing to hold her back when that letter offering marriage arrived. And she took it by faith and said, "Vámonos," and headed north with little Eliseo. Today, her clan flourishes. I don't mean to boast, but because of my Nana Cipri and others, I made it to Yale University for college. There's an apocryphal story in Eden Gardens that when Nana went around boasting that Maggie's son was going to go off, had been accepted to jail. They couldn't understand why she was so proud. And the precious memory is that she attended my Yale graduation in 1983, and my generation stands on big shoulders. And our clans have flourished. My brother's a successful businessman in New Brunswick, Canada. As was mentioned, the Weezars had an MIT graduate now patenting the rest of the 21st century for Apple. And it's because of these sacrifices, because of these visions, and I'm so grateful to still be connected to this place. Thank you so much.